Hey guys, just thought to talk about religion today. You're thinking, oh no. With all the media we've got at the moment, I've just been trying to find something completely different to talk about, and it's something I've been reviewing, not because I've suddenly found faith, but I always found religion peculiar, in the sense of I couldn't understand how it can have some of the worst people on this planet as part of it. At the same time, some of the best. And then, because I mean, I'll go back to when I was with AS Alarms. AS Alarms was my first job when I left school. A guy there called Barry Smith, the owner, he got arrested for corruption issues, where he was paying a project manager for the local council. And spent a year in jail. I think I can't confirm it was exactly 12 months, but he did get a prison sentence for the corruption case. Yeah, this is the guy that you phone as soon as goes to put it down, give it the God bless you, all that, always pushing the religious aspect. Now I think it was more to do with the fact that he was doing the PA systems for the churches, alarms for monasteries, all that sort of stuff. Was he religious? I honestly couldn't actually tell you, but he was certainly riding that gravy train. So he was one of the. I mean, it wasn't hurting anybody, but from a religious point of view, it's like a complete false persona aspect. Um, and then I look at the other end of the spectrum. You've got Chip, that's a medical missionary out in the Philippines. Good friend of mine. Um, he's the other end. He's giving away money. He's helping the community. He's doing free medical treatments for local populace, etc. Um, and he believes in what he believes in. And you're thinking they're both part of the same religious system. Which gets me to my point, because when I was looking into this more and more, because it doesn't matter which religion you look at, they all have very similar messages, and the key to it is living the best you can be, being content with what you have, respecting others, all this sort of stuff. The whole basis is just about being what you can be, and having morals, respect, and values. Uh, so the point being is the selling side is secondary, and this is why I don't like churches, because often in a church you are dictated to by the person at the front. And I've got to admit, I used to go to this stuff all the time, not by choice, but coming from a military family, being in the scouts, all that stuff. You're there every Sunday, whether you like it or not, because they need to fill the seats. Um, but the point being is, it's dictating, dictating, um, and it's just very dull and boring, because it's not selling a proper message. I mean, don't get me wrong, school assemblies, very different. Have a priest come in and give you the moral story around, I don't know, the mouse that stowed all its food, and the one that didn't, all that sort of stuff, which was a really weird moral story, in the sense of, I really didn't get it when I heard it in the assembly, where you got these two mice. One's actually collecting all the way through the summer, all this stuff, collecting all stuff, collecting. The other one's out partying with its mates, not doing anything. You know, comes to the winter, the one mouse got all the food in there, stowed everything up. The other one's starving, absolutely starving. And then so the other one, not they knock on doors. I haven't seen any carpenter mice, so I can't say they did knock on the door or not. Maybe knocked on a leaf, but then so a little rustling leaf, that's rustling leaf. Yeah, I'm starving. I haven't done anything all summer. Blah blah. I'm ever so sorry. I won't do it again. I'll help you next year, and we can do this together. Oh yeah, come in. You can eat my food as well. And what was the moral of the story? I remember hearing that when I was probably 14 years old, and I was thinking, I don't understand what the moral is. That just sounds like socialism to me. So don't educate yourself. Mess around all life. Doesn't matter. Those at work will carry you. I think that's the UK unemployment system. But anyway, you used to get these priests come in and give these stories on morality and everything else. Everything from their pet, talking about a pet dog and something happened that morning. But the point is, they were trying to get the moral of the story over about being the best, but in very indirect ways. Because I do think the important bit is, quite simply, it could be cut down from a book this size to a bit like my. I'm going to fall off my chair if I do this. I've got a. I'll end up dropping it. There's a book up there that's only about this thing, which is an extract from a very famous. I'm gonna get it. Hang on. This is the Art of War, which is obviously a very famous Shenzhou book that a lot of people, especially military statisticians and strategists, etc., use a lot, and it's used quite common in business as well to follow the principles. And the funny thing is, if you can get enough information out of that to build businesses and whatever, why do you need so much information to live a good life? But that's why I'm getting back to religion, because it's all this sell, when all you need is that. All you need to know is be the best you can be. How do you achieve that? Well, how do you get to that in life? And I think at some point they put on the afterlife, because I think they started to go into this. I know I'm upsetting some people already with my perspective on religion, but the afterlife for me, because it doesn't really have any information. I'm not interested in hearing the God speeches and stuff. What I'm talking about is, because we haven't got any facts, we haven't had somebody come back and go, hey, this is what happens over there, I've just come back. Everything else up to that point is based on the belief, the expectation, being devout. But I think the most relevant thing is the now. I'm not saying what happens after there will be this, that, and the other, because I have no idea. And I don't think anybody really has. But what you do have is the life you're living now, which is why some of this is selling you on the next life. Because obviously if you've had problems in this life, then if you correct them, then your next life may be better. And, you could get into reincarnation, all sorts. But ultimately, it all gets back to just being a good person. The rest of it will just follow on naturally. But what I do find is some of it gets very peculiar, because it's a bit like I've had people arguing, two religious people, husband and wife. The one guy had an affair. His wife wasn't so accommodating. But when they're arguing on the phone, they literally quote chapters, verses, arguing with bits from the Bible, and one's counteracting the other, and you're just like, you do realise the whole concept of that was like the law. There is always something to counteract the other, because it's about selling the message. So you will always be able to yin and yang it. I'm throwing a lot of terms in here today. But the point being is, it's supposed to be multiple perspective. It's not supposed to be manipulated in a negative way. It's supposed to be able to adapt to selling the positivity of it. That you can correct your life if you've gone off the path. You can come back a better thing, in reincarnation. You can be better than where you are now, but also to be content. Because when you start looking into about the life of Buddha and whatever, and it was the belief that things could be better, but at the same time, once you understand, it's all about context. It really is. There's no point constantly striving. This is where consumerism's a bit bad, because consumerism is about having more. Yet, if you were content with less, which is the best of the two, I honestly think that the happiest people, well, sorry, from my experience, not just what I think, from my experience, I found the happiest people I know have generally the least. And it's not just simply because they don't know better. In fact, they haven't been corrupted by nonsense. I sit and look at like the adverts for new iPhones and all this, and there's this annoying advert where you got 3 kids going, "Oh, we got a smartwatch," and I'm just thinking, what spoiled people? But on top of that, the advert is just vulgar. It's driven by over consumerism, as if you're missing out on something. You're not missing out if you don't have a smartwatch. I'll tell you that now. You are not missing out. I've got an old traditional watch that I still wear, and I don't need to know that my phone's ringing and it's on my phone, because I've got a phone in my pocket. There's a lot of things out there where I think if you just follow religion in the bigger point, which is basically just to be content, happy, treat others well, and be forgiving, which is something that I don't think people do properly these days. And I do think people are over emotional these days. I was watching, what's that new Star Trek one with Michael, the female. I find it peculiar, because it just seems to be over emotional for no, like when they go off into these long delays of, oh, you need to take on board what they're feeling. No, you don't. It's supposed to be a starship. It's supposed to be a working ship. I don't remember any of this at the Battle of Trafalgar or something. I don't remember these sort of moments historically where people had these. It's just, I don't know, the world's gone peculiar, and it's all about me. Yeah, it should actually be more about everything, being content, being happy, seeing that you don't need as much as you're told you need, respecting others, appreciating others. And the bizarre thing is, all these messages are already there, but with the way today's media is pushed, it's ignoring all this stuff. It's going down the millennial route, and I know I've said millennials now, but there's a lot of selfishness out there, which I just find, not only is it selfish, but it's often fake. It's irritating. So my message to anybody out there is just be the best you can be. And if you can get a decent religious book down to this size, I think you've got a bestseller. Because you just need to cut out all the long-winded stories and the contradictions, and actually just focus on, look, if you try and live this way, you're going to be a much happier person. Beyond that, I don't think you need much more. Yeah. Love to see the comments. I'm sure this one's going to be a busy one. Alright, thanks for watching.